You live and direct from Philadelphia. I have a very important message. I'm only going to keep you about 5 minutes. I have a very important message. I'm only going to keep you about 5 minutes. Peace and Pan-Africanism to my continental Africans. Peace and Pan-Africanism to my Australian Africans. Peace and Pan-Africanism to my Caribbean Africans. Peace and Pan-Africanism to my Africans in Europe and Asia. Peace and Pan-Africanism to my Brazil and my South American Africans. Peace and Pan-Africanism to Panama and Costa Rica, my Central American Africans. Peace and Pan-Africanism to my Canadian Africans. Peace and Pan-Africanism to my New York, my Carolina, my Texas, my Phoenix, my Philly, my Jersey, my Maryland, my Baltimore, my Georgia, my Florida, my Arkansas, Alabama, Detroit, Chicago, St. Louis, Kansas City Africans. It's your big brother King Kong. I need y'all to listen up. I got a very important announcement. I'm only going to keep you a few minutes. This morning, I received a text message from one of my homies. He needed Dr. Umar to send him a couple dollars. This morning, I received a text message from one of my homies. He needed Dr. Umar to send him a couple dollars. I logged into my account just to check my balance because I haven't done so since I left for South Africa back on July 10th. Only to discover that I could not log into my account. So then I called the bank to find out what was going on. And the bank told me to enter my 16-digit card number. I did that. They told me they had no record of my account. The bank that I've been with since I was a teenager told me they had no record of my account. So then I called the bank. And the bank told me that my personal account, as well as the independent Frederick Douglass Marcus Garvey Academy account, have both been frozen. Both bank accounts have been frozen. And I was told that there is an investigation into my personal account as well as the school account. I asked them, was this due to suspicion of any fraud on my part? I was told that it was not due to suspicion of any fraud on my part, but I was told that it was due to suspicion of fraudulent activity. I was told that someone has been trying to gain access to my personal account and the FDMG account. I was told that someone has been trying to gain access to my personal account and the FDMG account. I was told that someone has been trying to gain access into my personal account and the FDMG account. Brothers and sisters, if you have sent a donation to FDMG, let's give it until the end of the month to see if this gets cleared up. They have given me no definitive timeline as to when their investigation will conclude. If you have sent a check or money order donation to FDMG, let's wait until August the 1st, Black August, and see if this situation has gotten cleared up. They told me they sent me a letter to this point on July the 10th, the day that I left for South Africa. I was told that the timeline of suspicious activity was June 25th to July the 10th. I was told that the timeline for suspicious activity was between June 25th, that's when Medea went public. Everybody knows who Medea is. July 25th, that's when Medea went public. July the 10th, that's when I left for South Africa. So y'all know my suspicion.
Building a new life takes determination, but it's worth it for family. Send money overseas quickly and confidently. With Western Union, deposit directly to their account internationally with zero transfer fees so you can focus on what's next.
I believe Medea and Pastor Bussy were fraudulently trying to get into my account. And if we find out that's the case, they will be sued and possibly arrested because fraudulent activity on a bank account is a federal offense. Fraudulent activity on a bank account is federal offense. Fraudulent activity on a bank account is a federal offense. Again, June 25th to July 10th is the period of suspicious activity. That is from the time Medea went public and I left for South Africa. Between the time Medea went public and I went for South Africa. So brothers and sisters, if you want to make a donation to FDMG, you must send it to PayPal. Hold off on the checks and money orders until the situation is resolved. Hold off on all FDMG Academy money order and check donations until the situation is resolved. If you want to make a donation to FDMG, send it through PayPal. Right? PayPal.me/FDMG Academy. PayPal.me/FDMG Academy. PayPal.me/FDMG Academy. If you want to make a donation to the school, hold off on checks and money orders until we find out what the hell is going on. The bank is investigating the fraudulent attempts on our account. If I find out Medea and Pastor Bussy had anything to do with this, I was told that they can be arrested for federal offense. I was told they can be arrested for federal offense. I was told they can be arrested for federal offense. Now, with that being said, brothers and sisters, Dr. Umar has access to no money right now because my personal account contains all of my money. I only send it to Apple Pay and PayPal as necessary. So the Prince of Pan-Africanism, for the first time in my life, is without any digital currency. So for my loyal supporters out there, if you can spare a few dollars so I can take care of Queen Mother Ifa Tunde and myself until my bank account is frozen or canceled so I can get my money back and open up a new account, please hit my Apple Pay or hit my PayPal. My personal PayPal account is Umar the Psychologist at yahoo.com. So that's paypal.me/Umar the Psychologist, paypal.me/Umar the Psychologist, paypal.me/UmarthePsychologist, paypal.me/Umar the Psychologist, or hit my Apple Pay using my cell number 215-989-9858. 215-989-9858. I've never asked the people for $1. I have never asked the people for $1 in my life. I've only asked you to donate to the FDMG Academy for Boys. I don't have any sons. I have 2 daughters. So the FDMG campaign is a selfless project, mission, and service to provide our boys with the education that they deserve. But right now, I don't have any money because my account was frozen by my bank because someone has been trying to hack into my account, hack into FDMG Academy account. So the FDMG Academy account is frozen. My personal account is also frozen. That means we're going to lapse on our utility bills. We're going to lapse on our internet bill. We're going to lapse on a lot of our bills at FDMG. The bank is not giving me a timeline as to when this situation is going to be resolved. If I don't have Cash App, nor does FDMG have Cash App. I do not have a Cash App. I only have Apple Pay and PayPal. If you can spare a few dollars, send it to my Apple Pay, 215-989-9858, 215-989-9858, or my PayPal, paypal.me/Umar the Psychologist. Although Leo season is off to a rocky start, brothers and sisters, we will overcome. Shout out to all my donors. Newark, New Jersey, I'ma see you. Nat Turner, I'ma see you. Mobile, Alabama, I'ma see you. New Orleans, Louisiana, Hurricane Katrina, I'ma see you. Kenya, January, I'ma see you. FDMG is coming. We just got to lay down on floors, brothers and sisters. Lay down on floors, and we applying for a certificate of occupancy. I don't have any money in my pocket because my account is frozen. If you could send a few dollars to Dr. Umar for Apple Pay or PayPal, I would greatly appreciate it. Black Queens forever, Snow Bunnies never. Enjoy your weekend. Leo season forever. Peace and Pan-Africanism.
Communicate in English.
All right, peace. What's up? All right, what do y'all think of that? That that announcement. I don't know. I don't know. I still would like to give the brother a benefit of doubt. Welcome to Truth Tuesday with your host Hakeem Mel here on Hindsight Radio. I thought it was somebody put in there. Never have all your money in one account. I agree. Now, what makes it sound fishy is that, okay, somebody hacked your account, right? You come in, you show them that it's your account, and though you didn't authorize whatever they were trying to do, you had nothing to do with it. Okay, now I can get my funds. The way the way it sounds, the way he's describing it, it sounds like he might be being accused of fraudulent activity. They'll freeze an account on you if they believe the activity is fraudulent. You see? Um, so I what do y'all think? That's the number if y'all want to call in and join me in discussing this. I've met this brother in person, face to face. He's been a guest here on this show. And I believed in his cause about starting the school, but when I first heard about this school that he was going to be starting, that was in 2014 when I heard that. 2014 is when he announced, when I first heard it announced. He's probably mentioned it before that in South Carolina. That's when I was doing my satellite thing. And I don't know if I buy the fact that his account was hacked and he for somebody else hacking his account. He's got to be careful. He's on the internet talking about some Pastor Bussy. I mean, I don't even know if I'll trust somebody with that name, Bussy. This sounds weird. Pastor Bussy. What y'all think in the chat? Like, what do you think? I think they took it. I think they just hijacked the account. I was under the impression that he had the school open partially. He's been moving on this, but he said he was getting a lot of trouble from his his supporters. Well, he had people working on it, and they didn't come through with the contractors, and it's and then he said Medea. Who's Medea? Who he talking about Medea? He's not talking about Tyler Perry, is he? Yeah, I think they took his money. I mean, the thing about it is, hang on, let me get my I need to get one of these windows open. I think it's nope. Not that one. The thing about it is, I think my TalkShoe is not up. I know I had it up and then it closed out. My computer did something weird. Like I had all my overlays, and they're all gone now. They're wiped out, and they were up here earlier. Let me. All right, there we go. All right, so I got the number. You call that number, and you'll be able to join in. So, what I know about bank accounts is if some fraudulent activity, they'll turn off your debit card, you turn off any cards that's associated with it. You got to call in, verify who you are. Sometimes it's required that you go into the bank and straighten things out. But to totally say they got to shut it down, we don't know when we're going to fix it. That sounds, that don't sound altogether right to me. That just doesn't sound cool. That don't sound like factual. Maybe I got to invite him on the show again and see if he, break it down. No, he's already receiving backlash and criticism because he's been talking about this school and it hasn't been open. Now, here's the thing, and I see a lot of content creators dogging him over that. But here's a question. I don't think anybody has a right to dog somebody about opening the school and you never donated to help the school get open. And I think most of the people that's criticizing him about opening a school have never given him $1. And I think that's to have a criticism about him opening a school, but you never supported. Now I can see if a supporter, hey, I gave you this money all this time and you still don't have a school. Yeah, a supporter has a right to to gripe about that. You know, someone who is supporting and giving money, but most of the content creators and most of them are black folks who beefing about what he's doing have never given him $1. And I think they should shut up and not complain about something they never supported. Isn't that funny how people will have a criticism for something they never supported? Maybe if you supported it'd be better. Maybe if you supported it would have been open. Now I'm just confused about this banking thing. Back to that. Like you 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 do he does a lot of interviews and I mean, I've been seeing him all over YouTube. I know he charges to do his interviews. I pay, the last time he was here, I had to give him a donation. I supported his cause. I'm like, you only got PayPal, one bank account, and then the school account, and then they shut that account down, and then now you don't have nothing. It's weird. That's weird to me. What y'all got to say in the chat? Maya Davis says it is true. Purple crime, I don't know what that means, but not sure. So we got Jason. Jason, what's up, man? How you doing? Let me say, even if peace, prosperity, and extreme wealth to everyone. I gotta, that's Mike reading. I need to put that in there too. Oh, the whole accepted for value is going back around again. That's becoming well. It was becoming a big thing again. A new round of new recruits of people trying that accepted for value and not getting any results. And it never ceases to amaze me how when people do that and you warn them about it, they look you straight in the face and they'll say, "Oh, it didn't work for you." So that's why it didn't work. I'm telling you, something tampered with my eCam, my interface here because I had all the pictures and everything is gone on here that I had ready to ready to roll. Like all my saved. It's weird. It is weird how that my he got me about to donate, man, for real. uh he he needs to get your book on how to set up a ministry. He sure do. He needs that. That's what I was thinking. How you put yourself in a position where someone can hack your account? You know you can't trust these folks. You can't. Trying to figure out how I lost. So I had all that stuff set up, and then all of a sudden it disappeared. How did that happen? And then somebody weird how that happened. He got the TikTok method. Must be. All right, so the ebook is coming out Friday. It's dropping Friday. I'm still I had some of it done. I just gotta touch it off and complete it. To my members who've been loyal with me, I just want to thank you. I did finally upload all of the classes that was missing for the past weeks. It's in the membership going in. You can see all of the classes there. And said, "True. Why he don't want a paper trail? I don't know if it's about a paper trail. It just seems the amount of time he's been in this game. He's been around for a long time, and he seems like he's operating his finances rather immature. I think, like, I- some people have skills in a lot of things, and they just when it comes to finances and managing that and setting up your account right, they don't know those things." But it sounds the way he's describing it, it sounds like his funds have been frozen due to suspicion of him. That's the way it sounds to me. Not that somebody else was hacking into account and doing fraudulent activity. Suspicions of him. Because if someone's trying to get an account and they did fraudulent activity, they deal with those people. And for him to come out and just name those two people without proof, that's risky. That's defamation. You can't do that. And that's true. Like, if he set up a situation where people are giving donations, and depending on how he set it up, you can receive government scrutiny if they suspect you misusing the funds. And this is what it sounds like is going on with that. That's how it sounds to me. I'm sorry. That's how it sounds. And if I could get him on here, I'm ask him that hard question. Hey, bro, it just seems suspect. Can you explain yourself? It just seems real suspect on what's going on. So let me just change the subject slightly, just to let you know. I was wound up yesterday, and so I didn't get really to sleep until like 4 in the morning. So right now it's hitting me now, right? That feeling that I need to get some rest. But um, so this is on a spiritual nature. So I talk to a lot of people, and I've been talking to people, and the story is the same pretty much across the board. People are having trouble right now with their finances. Things is in their mind tight. It's tough. Now you got to remember, this is a 9-year of completion, so a lot of the old stuff is being cleansed away, and you're getting a lot of turmoil, which seems like one thing after another is hitting. There's a heavy energy of opposition right now. And this is why you must stay in a practice in your consciousness and maintaining and being faithful to being positive about your words, about your success, and not giving in to the idea that things is not working out for you. Even in the most hard situation, trying situation, it's working out for you. And I know you might be really going through something right now. You might be, and Akeem, it's not working out. Guess what's happened? They did this. My light's about to get cut. I can't pay this. I can't pay that. It's not working out. And guess what I'm going to say to you when you say that to me? I agree. Because I'm going to agree with your word. If you say it's not going to work out, it's not working out for you, then I'm going to agree with you. It used to be a time I used to fight people and like, yo, don't say that. Don't say that. No, I'm not doing that anymore. I'm just going to make you realize your words is what's making it and reinforcing it. And why you can't come out of that loop. Because you are every time in this moment, in this now that you say it's not working out, in that moment, it's not working out. The moment you decide to change the language of this situation and say it is working out, and then I'm going to agree with that too. See, the issue, what comes out of our mouth, if we say it is working out, but in somewhere in the back of our mind, your mind, you're thinking no. Adversarial thinking. See, light and dark resides in all of us. And to put it in another way, put it to another perspective, God and the devil resides in all of us. The devil or Satan means adversary, manslayer. See, those adversarial things is what's going to kill your vision of success. That's what's going to do it. Remember, everything is a construction construct of your mind. Your mind, not mine, yours. Your your success and failure is your construct. It's your decision. It's your calling. I'm just here to remind you of the truth of you. That's it. I'm not here to tell you what God is saying to you. Because, see, God only speaks to one person in my life. He speaks to me and me alone. That's my personal relationship. He's not speaking to me to tell you, God told me to tell you this. No, he ain't speaking to me to tell you nothing. Because the true God, the one true God resides inside of me. So he can only be speaking to me. Because the voice that I'm hearing sounds like my voice. The only thing, I'm not speaking or vibrating my voice cords to be able to hear myself. I'm speaking from within. And that's the key. KRS made me realize that. The key is understanding and knowing the voice that you're hearing from within you. What is that? Where is it coming from? It's coming from you. It's coming from you. I've got to turn the live stream on for Telegram. You know, you can also go on my Telegram channel and you can listen and even talk on there as well. So yes, things look like in the trucking world, the loads is terrible. Right? They are. I mean, the rates that they want to pay is not good. But for somehow I tend to find very good loads. Still. Through all of that. See, even in situations where things the majority of things don't look right, you will find something. You just got to know that's what you're counting on. There was times in this company where, hey, you know, bills looking like they weren't getting paid. The insurance, insurance is very important. This has happened, so it didn't look like we was gonna be able to make the insurance payment, and then boom, money falls. It comes like this week. Insurance is due, right? I ain't ashamed to tell y'all. I'll tell you this. And some unpaid invoices weren't being paid. I've been sending emails, didn't get a call. Then guess what happens today? ACH is on its way. See, our issue is this, and it's got to do with what I said on Sunday. We get in the middle of things. When things are really working out for us, our consciousness, our mind, our overthinking nature gets in the middle of things instead of getting out of the way and say, hey, I went in that secret place. I asked for what I wanted. And I went and mind my own business and went on and did something else. Until a point in time, I am to receive which that I asked for. Like, I've been emailing this company, no one respond, called, no, always getting a voicemail. And this week, I absolutely needed that invoice paid. Get an email. ACH, it should be there by Thursday. I didn't have to do that. That money was waiting to come right now. Because divinity, God can see already what's about to happen, what needs to happen. So all I do is sit back. Oh, it's gonna come when it's ready, when it needs. Because what if I did get it 2 3 weeks ago? Why? I'd probably blew through it, right? No, son, sit back. Let me get this. We gotta realize and allow the power of God to work. We get impatient. I talked about this on Sunday. The Israelites, when they left Egypt, they were basically a day or two journey away from the promised land. They weren't that far. But because they got in the way and complained about what they didn't have, they were so ungrateful. They were even saying things like, at least we were this and we were slaves, but at least we had this in Egypt. This is the kind of nonsense they were talking about. This just got released from captivity. And then they was wishing they were back in captivity so they could have some minor comforts. The wilderness represents for all of us. It's a symbolic thing, being in the wilderness. It represents the hardship and the struggle you're going to go through to accomplish those things that you desire. And if you understand the cycle of life, if you just understand life, period, and you don't just look at the human experience, look at the nature experience. Everything that develops into anything of value must go through a process of struggle. A seed, when it's planted, it's got to go through a struggle of busting through the shell. A butterfly starts off as like a little, caterpillar looking thing, and then it goes in and gets into a cocoon, then boom, and now it's a butterfly. Everything must go through some change in order to reach its full potential. A tree, right? A tree goes through changes every year, but its first change was coming from a seed. The leaves, grow during the spring and blossom, and then come fall, it got to change again for the fall. The leaves come off. It may even lose some branches. Roots got to grow and reach out. Tell me one thing in nature that just stands still and does nothing and still change or become something different. Even a tree, even though a tree is in that one spot and grows up, it's changing. The roots are growing deeper, it's reaching out. If you ever seen trees grow in a big city, those roots get up under that concrete and break up the concrete. And I mean, even in the country, living in the South, a tree too close to the house can mess with the foundation. And it's just standing in one spot, just growing and getting bigger, getting stronger. But in order for it to do that, it has to go through process, right? It needs to have water, has to have good soil, sunlight. Where the leaves go through photosynthesis. And then those same trees provide the things that we need, which is oxygen. And we provide something to it. So if right now in this season of things, Your things just seem unusually tough. I just want you to know you're not the only one. This is that type of season. Even in the Bible, they had droughts. They had famine. This is that season. This is why you prepare for these times. This is when you know you didn't when you haven't really fully prepared properly for hard times. We live in a world where things ebb and it flows. Things go up, they come down. There's chaos and then there's peace. And right now, I believe we're in a heightened state of chaos. That's why I have decided not to get on any planes, probably for the rest of the year. I was supposed to go out and do some things, but then I got advised, hey, chill out, stay off the planes right now. New York City, there's some guy with AR-15 was shooting up some stuff. Then there was a bomb situation in LA. I don't know if that was an accident. It seemed like the world is in nothing but chaos right now. Unusual amount of chaos. And the reason why I say it's unusual, I don't watch the news, so I don't get like before the news is on and I don't know. But then stuff's happening. You got Dr. Umar somebody try to hack his account. It's crazy. All of his money is held up. And it just seems like everybody's having these complaints about finances being hung up. You're not alone. But I can tell you this. It's it's better once you recognize, hey, you just don't let it don't let it stress you. Just say, hey, this is what it is. Accept it. Accept that that's what it is. And then make the change of mind, renew your mind, and say, this is not what it's not going to be tomorrow or right now. Keep moving forward. And be grateful for what you already have. You got a roof over your head, you got food in the refrigerator, you're doing good. But I also, give you a little public service announcement. Start storing up some lentils and rice. Go get you those big bags of rice. Put them in those 5-gallon buckets that you can get from Tractor Supply. Seal them up. Some dry beans. Those 5-gallon buckets are not that expensive. They come and get the top to go with it. Some canned foods. I'm not saying anything big is gonna happen, soon. I don't know. But the way things are looking right now, you never know what can happen. I was just talking to somebody that said, yeah, I think I think we're gonna get a blackout here in New York. Out of the blue, they said, and maybe they might be right, and it was a woman. So, I trust women. Sometimes women have a keen sense of intuition sometimes. And for her to say that just out of the blue, I think we're gonna have a blackout. And this week, I think this week it's supposed to be extremely hot in a lot of places this week. Heat tends to bring on blackouts. I think I think right now we are in a financial reset, or the reset has already happened. We just haven't seen the actual evidence of it. So, what do y'all think? What do y'all think about that? Ain't nobody hacked my account. No, we talking about Dr. Umar, Scale Boys. Somebody hacked his account. What people said they would have just changed the account numbers. Yeah, they would have just did all that, like just to hold up all his money. He can't get access. It just, I just can't see that happen unless he's the one that they are suspicious of. Damon L. Bay said, "Peace and love, peace back to you." Scale Boys, what's up? No, nobody hacked my account. We was talking about Dr. Umar's issue, talking about he got hacked, and somebody said in November we will see a financial reset. Why November? Why November is the month? Huh? Why November? What's special about November? Why y'all not calling in, man? Y'all scared? Y'all, let's see. How do I? Oh, there it is. All right. So what's so special about November that it's going to be a reset? That's what somebody commented. I believe there's going to be a reset, so Trump can say it's the best economy has ever been, the biggest turnaround in the stock market history. Okay. The Genius Act's been signed. Clarity and anti CBDC are next. Not sure why they picked November. The Genius Act. Actually, I pulled that bill out. I was supposed to study it. I haven't had time to really look at it and read it. To kind of see what they got hiding in that bill. I'll get to it. I had it. Did I download it? Uh, Let me see. I know I had went on the internet and looked it up and saved the PDF. Why they call it the Genius Act? I know that's what that's more about that digital currency, that Genius Act. I know that much. Mm-mm. Okay. Yeah, I have it now. Actually, I'll share the screen with y'all so y'all can see it. That's the Genius Act. Y'all. And all of it is about digital assets. This is the ushering in digital money So no more dollars, actual dollars. Stable coin. Now, some years ago, you had all of these billionaires talking about crypto. It's not nothing. It's nothing. You don't mess with it. Don't mess with it. Now, all of the banks on it, those same people that told y'all not to mess with it, is messing with it now. That's why you can't trust these guys. See, they tell you guys not to, the regular folks not to mess with something so that they can keep it low. And then when they take off, they're going to make millions. I remember watching CNN all those years ago. Nah, you'll be a fool to do this, and you'll be a fool to do that. If you did that, you're gonna lose all your money. And now they just got a bill strictly about, for the most part, how they're gonna manage cryptocurrency. Let me tell you what happened here, so y'all see how the game was played on everybody. Bitcoin was the tool to get us to where we are now, that we could have a bill like this. Okay? The game was to make something and promote it to where it's anti-government. The government can't do this and the government can't do that. Blah blah. Get everybody to jump on board, and then slowly but surely, I watched in that crypto space before you could buy your Bitcoin, no ID, and you could store it. No one know who's own it. Now you have to give them socials and all of this stuff and EINs, and if you're a business, you got to set it up like a business to buy it. And they issuing 1099s on it. If you sell it for profit, they're going to send a 1099. See, the government works like this. It's only a problem for them when they can't tax it. Soon as they get the infrastructure in to tax it, it's all good. Remember, this is a system. This is a religious system. Why do I say it's a religious system? Because in their constitution, they say, thank Almighty God, blah, blah, blah. It's a religious system. It's their church. And their church got to get a cut. Has to get the cut. And see, and here you got the Genius Act. I think this is like a sarcastic way of saying that we geniusly sucking everybody into accepting cryptocurrency. Now we can really control the money. That's why it's called the Genius Act. Bitcoin was the bait for us to accept digital currency where they could have full control over it. What y'all think about that? What do y'all think? I think Bitcoin was created by the world governments in order to get us where we are right now. They went in a think tank, hashed out some scenarios, said we give them something that they could hope to get away from us, but all it's going to do is give us more control. CBDCs would give them full control. Explain yourself. CBDCs, what's that? Hmm? What is that? Oh, what did I just do? Mm, did something. See, I haven't had a chance to read this whole thing. Let's go up here. They got the definitions telling you what jurisdiction this bill falls under. The term state means each of the several states, the District of Columbia, and each territory of the United States. So this falls basically in the District of Columbia only. It says means each of the several states, the District of Columbia, each territory of the United States. So all of the territories. That's it. Where's the other definition? Then you got the term person means individual, partnership, company, corporation, associate, incorporated, unincorporated, trust, state, cooperative, organization, or other entity. Term national currency means the Federal Reserve note as the term is used in the first undesignated paragraph of Section 16 of the Federal Reserve Act. 12 U.S.C. 411, money issued by a central bank, money issued by intergovernmental organizations pursuant to an agreement by one or more governments. Oh, someone sent me something the other day. Let me see if I can pull it up. I had, you know, I set up the churches and stuff for people, and then someone was questioning me. Well, was interested in it, but they didn't quite understand it. And he said that some of the things may not have always been true. He said, I'm finding that some of what you told me about 508c1A organizations may not be fully true, at least as it concerns filing with the IRS. And my response was, first, there's no such thing as a 508c1A organization. A church is still a 50C organization. It just has mandatory exceptions. The 508c1A rule gives them special powers, being mandatory accepted from filing requirements. So the argument was, he sends me this website. Let me see if I can pull it up. The myths of 508 free church status. After this, I'm shutting it down. It said periodically the 508 free church misconception circulates the internet, leading pastors and leaders astray. Advocates of this notion assert that a church labeled as a 508 church enjoys a distinctive classification that grants them immunity from taxes and IRS orders, autonomy from governmental regulations, and increased freedom of speech. None of these claims are true. Now, see, he's half true. He doesn't. He's 50% right here. And I'll explain, but let me keep reading. Section 508 has been interpreted by the courts many times. In the case of Steves versus Internal Revenue Service, the court explicitly refuted the argument that Section 50C1A shields the church from IRS scrutiny. In the case of Branch Ministries versus Rosati, the court determined that such claims are creative rather than substantive, ultimately deeming them without merit. I will discuss the case later in the blog and expound on the real meaning of Section 508. Let's skip down. And then they read the plain language. Section 508 C1A essentially confirms that churches are automatically tax exempt and need not apply for Section 501c3 status separately. Still, it doesn't relieve them from adhering to the rules and regulations associated with Section 501c3 organizations. This interpretation has been affirmed in various legal opinions and cases. Let's begin by looking at the plain language of the law. I will outline it in the following 3 points and then include a copy of the law itself. See, he's still 50% right, and I'll explain it. I'm going to get through this and understand and show you. Section 508A outlines how a church can attain tax exempt status. It says that all organizations that want to be tax exempt must apply for 501c3 status. See, he's not even quoting this right. It says in the plain language of the law, it says that all those who want to be recognized as tax exempt. That word recognize is important, okay? Apply for 501c3 status. Section 508C says that he's paraphrasing these laws because most people are not sticklers for words. They look at the word, just recognize, don't mean, it means something. That word recognize means something, but he's on point and then he's off point in this. So Section 508C says that the certain organizations are exempt from having to apply to be considered tax exempt under Section 501c3. Section 508C1A says that churches, their integrated auxiliaries, and conventions or associated churches do not have to apply for 501c3 status to be tax exempt under Section 501c3. The courts have ruled that section doesn't relieve a church from complying with all the rules and regulations of Section 501c3 to be tax exempt. That is correct. It doesn't relieve churches from that. But certain types of churches aren't relieved. Because there's 2 ways to get into the jurisdiction of being controlled by the government. And before I explain it, I want somebody to put it in the chat what you think the 2 ways it is to get into their jurisdiction. It's 2 ways that makes a church be under their jurisdiction. 26 USC Code 5, Section 508, special rules with respect to Section 501c3 organization. Now, he quoted that right. Right there, it says 26 U.S. Code, Section 508, special rules with respect to 50C1C3 organizations, meaning that a church is still a 501c3 organization. All these knuckleheads been running around telling y'all 508, but they don't know what they're talking about. Because if you read the rule, it plainly says what this says right here. And then he's actually copied and pasted because this is fully what it says. Right? So you skip down to churches and the integrated and conventional associate church or any organization they have mandatory exceptions. There you go. Right? There's no such thing as a 508c1a classification. I agree. Him and I are on the same page with this. I agree. I've been saying it for a long time. Section 508c1a does not establish a distinct entity separate from the Section 501c3. In fact, it does the opposite. This section unequivocally states that by default, a church falls under jurisdiction of the Section 501c3 Churches need not formally request IRS. Now he's using the right words. IRS recognition of their status, but must adhere to all the rules and regulations of Section 501c3. If a church doesn't have to apply for 501c3, this is an important question. In summary, churches and religious organizations classified under Section 508c1a are automatically considered exempt under Section 501c3. However, this automatic status does not exempt them from adhering to rules and regulations applicable to all sections of 501c3 organizations. When a church relies on Section 508c1a and holds itself out as tax exempt, it is automatically under the jurisdiction of Section 501c3. Two fundamental presumptions arise. Firstly, that the church is exempt from income taxes under Section 501c3, and secondly, that the donors can deduct their contributions from their taxable income. Branch Ministries versus Rosati highlights his points in this case. The Church of Pierce Creek argued that the IRS lacks statutory authority to revoke the tax exempt status of a legitimate church. They reasoned that Section 501c3 pertains to tax exempt status for religious organizations, not churches. Conversely, Section 508c1a specifically exempts churches from the requirement of applying for advanced recognition of tax exempt statuses. Therefore, according to the church at the Pierce Creek, its tax exempt status does not emanate from Section 501c3. The court rejected that argument by affirming that Section 508 does not absolve a church from complying with all the regulations applicable to Section 501c3 organizations. I'm still waiting for somebody to put in the chat what you think the two jurisdictions I'm talking about that brings them in. Furthermore, the court ruled that a church that holds itself out as tax exempt under Section 508c1a cannot guarantee to its donors that their donations are tax deductible. For example, if I donate to a church that has not 501c3 status and I get audited, I must prove to the IRS that the church I donated to meets all qualifications of a 501c3 organization. Here's a quote from the case. A person who contributes to a church claiming tax exempt status under Section 508 may deduct that contribution from his or her income. But if the contributor is audited, he or she has the burden of establishing that the church, in fact, meets the qualifications of Section 501c3 organization. Blah, blah. I'm going to have to read that. But can someone tell me? Considering this judicial decision, others pertinent to the matter, getting 501c3 status while not mandatory for churches presents distinct benefits such as assurance to donors. That's bull. I don't know. No, that's not right. It may be right in some cases. It depends on how the church is set up. Now, I kind of gave y'all a hint. Somebody said becoming a religious organization instead of a church. Not necessarily to become a religious organization. Well, that's true. It depends on what EIN number they got, and they fill out the 508. I guess you're right. Religious organization. That's another way of saying that they filled out for the status, for the recognition. Oh, central bank digital currency. Okay. Thanks for the clarification. All right. I'll tell y'all because I'm getting tired. I'll tell y'all this way. I read the definitions, right? If you go over here, there was a definition of persons here. And it says the term person means an individual, partnership, company, corporation, association, incorporated or unincorporated. That's the other way that a church can get into the jurisdiction of the government, where they can be audited. If they are an incorporated church, because you can have a church that's incorporated or corporation so. They have churches that are incorporated. So if they incorporate, that means they are bound by statutes. to operate according to the rule of the law. Unincorporated, they make their bylaws, and that is the law of their church. Remember the case I read a few weeks ago where the members sued the church that took them to court because it wasn't following their rules? And in that ruling, the court has said because they decided to register with Caesar, now they have to abide by the law. That's the key. Make sure the church is unincorporated. Make sure it's unincorporated. That church had operated for 70 years, unincorporated. Then they went and did some 501c paperwork and incorporated it, and that now the court can rule and make them do what they require them to follow court orders. See, and that's what the guy's article is missing. That point, which it's understandable. Most people do. Most people do. They don't get that. Unincorporated versus incorporated. All right. And there you have it. Those are the two ways. Filling out for the recognition form and incorporating your church. And actually, it's three ways. What EIN number you're getting. The right EIN number must be gotten. All of my members, you already know what it is. All right, y'all. All right, with that being said, I'm out. I'm going to go get me some rest. I think I dropped some stuff on y'all. All right, peace, prosperity, extreme wealth to everyone. Good night.